and welcome to my weekly Wednesday chat. It is noon here in California, which means it's 3 p.m. on the East Coast, and I am super excited to be here, as always, on Wednesdays for my weekly Wednesday chat about art, creativity, and surface design. And if you are new here or if you're watching the replay, I am FOLLETTE, and I have the very great fortune of being able to have reinvented myself after getting laid off from my corporate job in my late 50s. And I am now an artist and a surface pattern designer and an online educator. And I absolutely love to come on every week and talk to you a little bit about art, creativity, and my passion, which is surface pattern design. And so it's wonderful to see so many of my sweet friends here who join me every week, like Susan Palmer and Jen Clark. It's great to see you here too. And hello, Hanneke. It's wonderful to see you. And Judy's here. Hi, Brenda. It's great to see you, Brenda. And so, Brenda, I just want to make sure that you know this is my weekly Wednesday chat. And Doodles, which started this morning, happened at 10 a.m. And to be honest, I don't remember if you were there live or not, or if you're going to be watching the replay, but I just wanted to make sure that you know these are two very, very separate things. And I'm super excited to see you in both, right? In both places. So today, my weekly Wednesday live is always about, hello, Jean. My weekly Wednesday live is always about the blog that I wrote that I send out on Tuesday mornings. And this is Anna Grace. Hi, Anna Grace. It's great to see you here. So wonderful. So Brenda, thank you so much. I knew that I had a feeling that you knew, but I wanted to double check. So you are the best. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it so that I'm not nervous about it. That gives me great joy. So Hanneke said that she loved the blog. So I'm so glad that you love the blog, because the blog this week, if you guys didn't read it yet, is about finding the balance between aesthetics and functionality. So let me share my screen with you and make sure that you know where to find it if you didn't read it. So I'm sharing my screen, so you should see on screen now my AnnaFollettArt.com website. Right? So when you go to my website, which of course is different from where I am right now on Facebook, you go to AnnaFollettArt.com. This is the URL up here in the upper left-hand corner. And you land on a page that looks like this. You can scroll down and you can get some of my free guides if you'd like. I have 3 fabulous guides. One is about surface design and crafting a career in surface design. One's about how to make more money at your next craft fair. And then this is a list of my favorite supplies. And then you can continue to scroll down and there's fantastic testimonials from some of my wonderful students. And then here we are. This is the weekly Wednesday chat where you're joining me right now. And then of course you can always follow me on Instagram. But if you go back up to the top, and click on the blog, you can see that I've got lots of fabulous blogs because I write a blog every week. And we've been talking quite a bit about storytelling in surface design, and always this week I wanted to really dive into what I like to call the yin and yang of surface pattern design, right? So this I published yesterday. So if I click on it, there were really kind of 3 main sort of considerations that I wanted to talk a little bit more about and wanted to also hear from you. Hello, Judy Leavenworth. I see that you just joined us. So I wanted to make sure that we kind of dive a little bit deeper into what I mean when I say kind of the yin and the yang of surface design, right? So the considerations when you're thinking about balancing the aesthetics with the functionality of your designs really revolve around these 3 main topics, which is understanding the role of the product, making sure you totally understand scale, and also the fact that color plays such an important role. It plays a very, very important role. So let me come back on screen And I love the fact that you are telling me in the comments that that Janelle is saying that the blog always makes me stop and focus on art and creativity. So I'm glad that it does, that I really appreciate that. Thank you, Janelle. And then Kathleen Lambert, it's great to see you, Kathleen Lambert. She says, speaking of that balance, I was loving the aesthetic of your cover picture, and it was, of course, functional, and I'm sure can be scaled for many uses. Love your photographer. Yes, and so Kathleen Lambert, were you talking about the cover picture that was, tell me more. Tell me more. So one of the reasons, so there's the cover picture that I picked for the blog is a picture of a bicycle. And I picked that kind of specifically because I was thinking about the balance between the aesthetics of a bike and also the functionality of a bike, right? So when you have a bike, you can add all kinds of fun whiz-bang things to your bike, like you can have a little bell, you can have, remember when we were younger, we would have like those streamers on the side so that when you were riding your bike, you'd have little streamers on the handlebars. You could add, you can also add a basket, you can add all kinds of fun things, and of course you can have a bike that could be red or it could be blue, it could be a wonderful color, and yet it's also a very, very functional, it's a very, very functional piece of equipment. So it's a great kind of example of how aesthetics play in with functionality. And but I love your comment, and so I would love to know more about what you were thinking about. And then the picture of Paris in the background. Yeah. So the picture, of course, I was in Paris recently, and I did a brand new photo shoot while I was over there, of course. And I had actually never taken pictures actually down by the Eiffel Tower. And so I did that. So the picture that's at the bottom of the blog is me in Paris, and you can see a little bit of the Eiffel Tower behind that beautiful pink tree that is that's at the bottom of the thing. And yeah, the pictures of Paris are fabulous. And then you were talking about my kitchen. I recognized it because, of course, you've been here, right? Because you came to visit me. Now, gosh, was that 2 years ago, Kathleen? And so you were kind of studying it as I was going live. So you mean the picture that is my countdown timer. Awesome. Thanks for clarifying. So, oh yeah, so Brenda said cards on the spokes. Yeah, right? So do you guys remember doing that too, where you would have cards on the spokes so it would make that clack, 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 clack sound? So much fun. So, in any event, so I wanted to talk just a little bit more about kind of the balance, because, you know, one of the things as we dive deeper into our surface design world, and specifically the surface pattern design world, and I'm deep into it right now because I just launched the Doodles coaching week again. It just started this morning. So I'm having so much fun in there. Oh my gosh, it's great. Today was the introductory lesson about just what are the incredible opportunities ahead of all of us in surface pattern design. And it's the opportunity on day one for everyone to share like what they want to do, what their goals and aspirations are. So it's incredibly, incredibly inspiring. And so that happened this morning. And so as we dive deeper into the Doodles Coaching Week, I'm going to be talking quite a bit about choosing products that you think your work is going to look beautiful on, and then also figuring out, with that in mind, what should be the scale of the actual work that you're creating and what's going to be kind of the right color palette to use, right? And so the idea, for example, for this the top that I'm wearing, so this is one of my designs. This is like one of my favorite shirts now because it's both one of my early designs. This originally, in a totally different set of colors, was wrapping paper. And I made it in a really vibrant sort of honey colored, like a golden honey color, yellow and blue. Which is look totally different. And one of the things about color is, and also when you start to use Adobe Illustrator's Recolor Art tool, first of all, it's a great tool. I love using it, and it's incredibly powerful. And part of what it does is it helps you kind of see it helps you kind of look at the placement of your motifs in a little bit of a different way. It highlights different aspects of the flow of your pattern. And so it is experimenting with color, which was one of the 3 considerations I was talking about in the blog, can be very, very powerful. It can be very, very powerful. So so I also wanted to talk just a little bit about, well, how do you decide like what you think your designs are going to look best on? And part of that, in terms of understanding kind of the product piece, is experimenting and giving yourself the permission to try a bunch of different things. Right? And this is a journey, right? This is a continuous practice, right? Continuous improvement, continuous practice. It's kind of like a circle of awesomeness, as Stu McLaren would say. That's his word for how you continue to kind of go around this circle of honing your skills and experimenting and testing and trying new things and getting better and better and better through practice. And going through the process from sort of from initial idea to actually getting a sample made, right? So that you can see what it would look like. And that's part of the journey and part of why it's so important to not only be working in the computer. So I know this is a little bit of a tangent, but we work a lot in the computer. And one of the things I mentioned in the blog is when you talk about scale, what does scale mean? So scale means, in the context of surface design, scale means how big are these motifs on my blouse, right? How big are these cute little flowers? And so they're all about an inch. Some of them are much smaller, but some of them are an inch. And when you're working in the computer, sometimes it's really hard to get a sense of, well, how big is that? Because you're working in this kind of virtual world. And so it takes a little while to both get used to that, and also you want to use the tools inside Adobe Illustrator, specifically like the ruler, right? Like the ruler, so that you can actually have a much better sense of how big or how small something is. But there's nothing like... right? There's nothing like just printing it out on a piece of paper and then seeing it in real life, right? Seeing it in real life. And so Judy Leavenworth, it is not too late to join Doodles, my friend. You absolutely can join Doodles. And so I will, let's see, you are watching this I'm going to give you, Judy, I'm going to come find you, and I'm going to give you the link, because you can totally join. So you're more than welcome to join. All of you guys are totally welcome to join. It's not too late to join. So I'm going to reply to you, and I'm going to give you the link, because you can totally... I'm turning that off so that you're not hearing me twice. And I'm going to reply to my sweet friend Judy, because you absolutely can. So I know that Jeanette is telling you that you can't, but you absolutely can. And so I'm going to do @Judy to make sure I find you. Judy Leavenworth. You can totally join. We just got started. Here's the link. It's members.artwithann.com/DCW, which is Doodles Coaching Week in all caps, dash, and I will put FB next to it, and then I'll hit enter. There you go. And it's not too late. Exactly right. Exactly right. Exactly right. So can you guys hear me now? I want to make sure that my microphone is in fact working, because I think I muted myself. All right. Can you guys hear me again? Fantastic. 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 So you can see, Judy, I tagged you, and And you can basically go to members.artwithann.com/capital D for Doodles, C for coaching, W for week, -FB for Facebook, just so that I know you kind of came through Facebook. Although, Judy, I know you're on my email list already. So let me also open that up so that you guys can all see, especially for anybody who might be watching the replay later. It's definitely not too late to join. And I want you to see how fabulous the opt-in page looks. It's Doodles Coaching Week. I spelled it wrong, that's why. But no, the link is good. The link is totally good. And here's what it looks like. So if you go to that link, members.artwithann.com/DCW, which is Doodles Coaching Week, -Facebook, you can listen to me talk a little bit about it, but most importantly, you can read the rave reviews from students. There are all kinds of little buttons right here. You can just click the very first one to register, because it's only $10. And then we just started today. And so we haven't gotten into the computer yet, so it's the perfect time to join. And this, in fact, is the fabric that I'm wearing on my shirt today. And the great thing about it is, first of all, it's the best hands-on training that you'll ever get for just $10. And that's what all the students have said. It's the greatest investment they've ever made. And then you can also see the whole schedule. So we just started today, so you're totally fine. And then there are 3 incredible bonuses. There's a Facebook group for it. There are downloadable written guides, and there's also troubleshooting support. So I would love, love, love to have you in it. So it's basically a value of $544. And you get it all for just $10. So it's a steal of the century. And I love teaching it. It's like the most fun I have all year is teaching it. So I'm so, so glad that you would love to join me. All right, so back to the blog. Who has some questions for me? Yeah, about, like, for example, we were talking about scale, right? We're talking about scale and how important scale is, because if you're doing something, for example, for a duvet cover, you're probably going to want your motif to be really, really, really big. And sometimes it's hard to get a sense of that when you're working inside the computer, because on screen it still looks like it could be quite small. So getting used to using the actual rulers so that you're looking at how big your motifs are against the rulers is key. And then also making sure that you also do print it out so that you can see what it looks like. So I think that there was also a question back here. Let's see. I think there was a question about, somebody asked a question about portfolios. Somebody asked a question about portfolios, and I think that I didn't answer it when it popped up, and now I don't see it. So let me know in the comments. I'm just scrolling back to make sure that if I missed. Here we go. Should portfolios focus on different products? Should portfolios focus on different products? Great question. Judy's back. Okay, good. So Judy, I gave you the link to join Doodles. You're absolutely welcome to join. And awesome. Scale is difficult when you do apparel, says Haneke. I agree with you. I think that that's right. And so should portfolios focus on different products? And that question is coming from Janelle. So thank you, Janelle. I think that, okay, good. So Judy sees it. Wonderful. So let's talk about portfolios, because we're focusing on portfolios inside my membership, inside Anne's Atelier, right? So Janelle, if you've watched all the lessons so far, right? So in June, we focused on getting organized and assessing your work. This month in July, we're actually opening up InDesign together, and we're actually creating a draft of your portfolio using InDesign, which I love, totally love. And we are going to have a Q&A next week week so that we're going to be able to dive into how, anything else that you need to know about how to use InDesign based on the training that I just gave you guys last week inside my membership. And then in August, we're going to wrap up the summer series, right? It's a summer portfolio series because you're going to have your first portfolio ready to go. And we're going to do some troubleshooting and some tips and tricks and some sort of, how to make sure that you're maintaining it. And I'm super excited about it. It's been an entire So Jane, yes, I did see your request, and so don't worry, I will get to that. I just haven't had time to, but I saw it, so thank you for asking. And Judy is saying the lessons for the portfolio class is going great. So glad that you're enjoying it, Judy. And Evelyn is saying, I think so too, meaning it's so important to get a sample. So if you're using Spoonflower, you absolutely can order a swatch so you can see what your design looks like. It's so important. Very, very important. And then it's great that you mentioned keeping scale in mind while designing. I've created designs with very delicate detail, but ended up using the motif as a secondary or a blender, which typically have smaller motifs. So my details become lost in the scaled down version. So the thing is about that is you definitely are going to continue to experiment, right? And I think that part of what is going to be very key as we all continue on this journey together, so Kathleen, I know that was your comment about scale, is you don't want some of those details to get lost, right? And especially some of those delicate details. So they may, actually, Kathleen, you know how to do this and you do a great job of it, which is to experiment and sometimes pull some of your motifs out and then use them as a blender so that you actually can just have people focusing on that delicate element as opposed to having it be getting kind of lost when it's among other things. I think that, I think that that's super, super important. And figuring out the context, or I guess the better way to describe it is what's a different way to approach highlighting that beautiful motif in such a way that it doesn't get lost. And the other thing that I wanted to get back to, Janelle, because I know I didn't answer your question, and then we'll wrap up for today, is that one of the thing about your portfolio is you want to make sure that you don't actually get too hung up by your portfolio because you're always going to be updating it. So your question is, should it showcase different products? And a lot of the time what you're doing in your portfolio is you're just showing the design itself. And the art director can absolutely, they have such expertise. And so if you're multitasking, come back to me because this is important. So when you're actually showcasing your designs to an art director, you don't have to show every single thing in the context of a room or on a particular product because art directors are in this world their entire lives. It's their whole career. So they know how to look at something that you have in your portfolio that is basically just a square that's showing a sample of your repeat, and they're going to be able to imagine it on a variety of different products based on the business that they're in. Right? So the key thing is really to make sure that you're always coming from the center place of what you want to do, because you're going to get asked to do it. So one of the things that's important is that if you don't want to design either in a particular way or for a particular industry, then don't showcase it in that manner. And because if somebody finds something that you're showcasing in your portfolio and they absolutely love it, that's the type of work they're going to want you to continue to create. So that's why it's so important to just continue to practice, and then it's super important to just cherry pick the type of work you like to create that is then showcased in your that is showcased in your portfolio, so that when they decide they want to hire you or they want to buy some of your designs or license some of your designs, that's the type of work they're going to continue to ask you to produce. And you'll be happy producing it, right? You'll be happy producing it. So So thank you so much for that. So I want to make sure I also get back to Nisha, because Nisha also had emailed me. And Nisha, thank you so much for emailing me your question. So Nisha's in the Summer Portfolio Series, which is inside my membership Anne's Atelier. And inside those training programs, you actually don't get written guides. So when you're in my signature program, my Pattern Design Academy program, all of the lessons come with written step-by-step guides, but you don't actually get those inside the inside my membership, because the trainings are shorter and they're shorter little snippets, and so I don't currently provide those. But if that's something that you want me to consider providing in the future, that could be something I totally do in the future. I'm happy to consider it. It's not actually an option right now. It's not an option right now because the lessons are so much shorter that that you don't get written guides. So I wanted to make sure I got back to you on that. Thank you for asking the question. Okay, so we talked a little bit about product and just thinking about the type of products before you get too far down in your design work, when you're kind of at that stage. And then the second thing is scale. So important to understand scale and to look at your work kind of and print it out so that you can get an idea of how you might use it in real life. And also the last thing is to make sure that that when you're playing with color can often actually highlight something that might not be working that well in your design. And so you're not playing with the color to pick the color. You're working with a variety of different colors because it highlights your design in a totally different way, and you notice the motif placement differently. And I know that's so I think that's really a pro tip, right? I've really gone to sort of this super pro level of color usage. But the next time we're doing a demo in either in the Academy when I'm doing a demo, or in Anne's Atelier when I'm doing a demo, I'll show you what I mean when you're using the Recolor Artwork tool and you're not using it to pick the colors, you're using it so that you can actually see how your motifs are playing against each other by changing the colors around. Super sort of sophisticated way to also make tweaks to your actual design. And then Judy said, is the type of work considered your style? I'm having trouble figuring that out. I suppose my style will reveal itself as I get better. Your style will totally reveal itself as you get better, Judy. And one of the things about it is the more you practice and the more designs you make. So you guys all know Bonnie Christine. We all love Bonnie Christine, right? Bonnie Christine is like the North Star of surface design, and she said it took her at least but she had to do at least 100 patterns. I think she even said more than 100 patterns before she felt like her style was emerging. And her style was a combination of kind of a little bit of this her stuff is not retro, that's not the right vocabulary word to use, but she uses a very sophisticated color palette that's very sort of retro, old-fashioned is maybe, or antique-y is a little bit maybe better. It's very soft, right? It's very soft. So part of what distinguishes her are the colors that she uses, and she really stays in a fairly narrow range of color. And then it's also the hand, right? The hand, her style that comes out through her mark making, as she likes to call it. So that comes with time, right? I love Bonnie C as well. Totally love Bonnie. So, all right. So I am going to let you go. And there was one other comment here. It said, so true. Found that there was more movement on a previous pattern when I used the Recolor Artwork tool. Yeah, awesome. So thank you all so much for being here. And remember, if you do want to join my Doodles Coaching Week, it's not too late. Let me go to the sign-in page again, just so you can see where that URL is if you want to go grab your spot. You'll get I haven't even sent the replay out yet today. And so if you join today, you can, you'll get the replay for the session that we did this morning. And then we're really getting started in earnest tomorrow. And this is the link, members.artwithanne.com/Doodles Coaching Week, DCW-FB for Facebook, just so I know you kind of came through Facebook while I was talking to you today. And you can grab it right here to enroll, or you just scroll down and grab any of these Yes, I Want In buttons. And I will be back next Wednesday, right? Come rain or shine, unless I am on an airplane. I will be here to talk about art, creativity, and service design. If you guys want to do more diving into ChatGPT, we can do that as well. And I always love to see you all. And your name is actually showing up, Janelle. It's just that you're watching it in the Anne's Art Club group, and that's why. Sorry, Kathleen, your name is showing up inside Anne's Art Club, which is where you're watching right now. It's just that when I am broadcasting, it's coming actually through, and you would get this because you use Ecamm Live too. So I'm broadcasting in 3 places. So where I can see the name of everyone is if you're actually watching from my business page, Anne LaFollette Art. But I can totally see your name when I actually go on my own screen and I go into Anne's Art Club, because you're watching from in there. So not to worry. And so your name is totally showing up inside that group. It's just not showing up because I'm broadcasting primarily through my business page. And then I'm also, that's also live streaming into Anne's Art Club and into my YouTube channel. And so thank you, Jen Clark, for joining from my YouTube channel. It's got the little red thing, a little red mark below your name. So appreciate that. And take care, everyone. I always love to say that I am Anne LaFollette, and it's never too late to create. Bye for now, and I'll see you next week.